5 years ago today, a historic windstorm hit the inland Northwest, killing 2 people and leaving thousands of people without power for days. Near hurricane-force winds slammed our region. Official wind gusts at the Spokane International Airport topped more than 70 miles per hour. Governor Jay Inslee declared a state of emergency, and our area has never been the same. Hundreds of trees were lost, countless rooftops were destroyed or blown away, and the damage took many of you months, if not years, to clean up.
Up with Krim begins now.
Well, good morning and welcome to Up with Krim on this very special edition of Up with Krim. I'm Jen York. Today marks 5 years since that devastating November 17th, 2015 windstorm. Most of us lived through that, remember it quite well, and today again marks 5 years. In a matter of 9 hours, we had more than a year of cleanup work to do, and we were left with millions of dollars in damage. Take a look at some of the video from back during that storm. At this very moment, 5 years ago today, on this program, we were warning you at home of this devastating storm. We knew it was on the way. We knew it was going to be one for the record books, but still the complete devastation from when it was gone is something those of us who lived through it will, of course, remember. Gusts hit up to 71 miles per hour at the Spokane International Airport, and that is the equivalent nearly of a Category 1 hurricane. It actually set the record for the strongest non-thunderstorm winds in our region. Now, at its peak, of course, many of you know this, more than 180,000 Avista customers were left in the dark. Now, for many, it would be a week in sub-freezing temperatures before power was restored. Now, typically, support for Avista would enlist help from Idaho and Montana, but since the storm caused damage across the entire region, for the first time, Avista had to call in resources from California. It took almost the entire year for Avista to make those permanent repairs on its infrastructure, and the final cost, $25 million. That sound a lot after the windstorm, right? A significant amount of damage came from trees falling on power lines, homes, and across roadways. And as one of our veteran photographers describes it, it was complete chaos followed by darkness. Thousands of homes lost power along with the street lights. Driving became difficult with debris lying across normally busy roads. And as the sun came up, we woke up to a better look at the damage. It included 800 downed trees in Spokane alone and damage to homes throughout the entire region. Now, the next day, Governor Jay Inslee declared a state of emergency for our area. And the Spokane County Emergency Management estimates the cleanup costs in the ballpark of $9.5 million. Emergency workers say cleanup costs were double that of the 2008 snowstorm here in Spokane, but FEMA did help later cover those costs. Across state line in North Idaho, banks of Lake Coeur d'Alene took a beating. The wind destroyed docks near Hope on the east end of Lake Pend Oreille. It sunk boats near the 11th Street Marina and damaged several more at the Silver Beach Marina. The strong winds also knocked out power to the Bonner County Dispatch Center, and the backup power generator failed. And for a brief time, no one could call 911. Of course, many of you remember that storm just did not seem to let up. Again, it lasted about 9 hours, starting in the afternoon and going all the way until midnight in the overnight hours. And we want to bring in meteorologist Jeremy Legoo this morning. Now, Jeremy, you've been studying this storm, and we want to know what are our chances that we'll see this again?
The good news is this is quite a rare event. And to explain how this all plays out, you got to know what exactly happened. For starters, we had a massive, strong low pressure center working its way into parts of British Columbia. 993 millibars. That's incredibly strong. It took a pretty unique track. We know a couple of different tracks that give the Northwest some very strong wind. This one took the more rare track that is more prone to give us even stronger winds. And notice it's also strengthening, drops to 986 millibars. The lower that number, the stronger the storm. It seldom drops down into the 980s, and that's what we saw, 984 millibars as it scooted by and made its way over into Alberta. So as that storm strengthened, scoots by off to our north, we had some warm air hanging out in the Columbia Basin, That causes all that air to rise. As this storm scoots by, you get downsloping winds coming out of the Cascades. It replaces that rising air. It was the perfect storm to get this type of wind. You heard Jen say it, 71-mile-per-hour wind gust recorded here in Spokane. That's just shy of a Category 1 hurricane, but look at that one, 137-mile-per-hour gust on Mission Ridge. That one's quite incredible, and we'll have much more on this coming up in just a bit. All right, well, back in 2003, dozens of large pine trees fell on homes along Ponderay and Coeur d'Alene. Then we measured wind gusts of 68 miles per hour. The heaviest damage from that storm happened in the Spokane area. Trees toppled onto houses and power lines, leaving up to 16,000 people without power in parts of Spokane. Fairchild Air Force Base even fell victim as the roof of its recreation center was ripped off by a gust of wind. Now, taking a trip back to 1996, the infamous November ice storm. It started off as a drizzly day. There were already 2 to 4 inches of snow on the ground, and by the end of the day, a ½ inch of freezing rain fell on top of that snow, making it the worst ice storm in 60 years. 4 people died because of the storm, and over half of the city of Spokane lost power, some for up to 2 weeks. The storm caused more than $33 million in damage. Jen, that's quite the wild weather, and thankfully all of that is very rare.
It seems like, Jeremy, we're seeing this, one big storm every decade. As to what kind of storm that is, we leave that up to Mother Nature.
Yeah, it's about what we can do.
All right, Jeremy, thanks so much for explaining that to us and helping us understand how the weather works and, if we might see something like this again in our future. Thanks again. Of course, we were able to clear much of the physical damage from the windstorm in about a year or so, but for one young man, his life changed forever that night.
It shoved him down in the seat, and I think it broke the seat. I got in there further and I put a sweatshirt around his neck to support it.
Now, the wind in North Idaho knocked down a tree on top of a passing car, and inside that car, then 22-year-old Jordan Simon. Dana Marie McNichol is joining us live now with more on his recovery, including a few setbacks and triumphs. Good morning, Dana Marie. How is Jordan doing this morning?
That's right, Jen. Jordan Simon's life was completely changed by the 2015 windstorm when that tree fell on his car and completely paralyzed him. Now, months after he was able to do rehab, he got a new adaptive truck and was able to go even fishing and hunting again. He thought the day of that tragedy, the windstorm, was behind me, but just a year, 2 years later, to the date almost, he was in another devastating car accident. And you can see some of those photos there right on your screen. Another truck completely crushed. Now, we're going to hear from Jordan's mother back in 2017 after that second accident.
Had that adaptive equipment up and in the back, all 3 would be gone today. The hopes and dreams that I had for him, I feel like those are lost, but yet when I talk to him, he still has his own goals, and I think he can get there.
Well, he may have lost his ability to walk, but definitely not his ability to fight. You saw that the first accident didn't stop him, the second one didn't either, and we do have some great updates for you 5 years after that original windstorm. Here's Jordan's inspiring update.
Do you remember anything from that day back in 2015?
Yeah, I got off work early to go hunting. And then fate took me another way.
The course of his life may have changed with the windstorm, but his passion for his hobbies and ability to still live life for the fullest has not. Jordan Simon is still hunting, fishing, and camping, doing things he loved before the accidents.
Was there a point where you never thought that you'd be able to continue doing the things that you love?
Nope. No, I bought my new truck when I couldn't move my left arm. I believed it was going to happen one way or the other.
He continues to be grateful for his independence, especially after receiving this donated track chair.
Getting your freedom back, it's just mentally it helps everybody out. Getting to be back out and do what you want. When you're a sportsman and you're stuck on the asphalt, it's not very much fun.
How are you doing? What is new with you?
I just picked up my trailer that I'm going to turn into a camper. I'm going to build my own cabinets and countertops, and I already built a bed for it. It sits me up and down. Once this corona blows over, I could take it around and show people that were recently injured what can still be done. It'll basically show people that they can do it. It just looks a little different.
After it's all done, he hopes to take this new camper cross country and speak with people in similar situations.
Do you feel a sense of responsibility to continue visiting people and sharing your story to inspire them?
Yeah, I think it works better coming from somebody that it's happened to other than a doctor or nurse that have been around it a lot but haven't gone through it.
2 separate spinal cord injuries later, people are in awe that he not only survived both accidents, but now has a plan to share his experiences, hoping to make a difference.
I hope they just pass it on to the next. No glory for me, just pass it to the next person and they'll pass it on and we'll all learn something from it.
Well, it was really great catching up with Jordan. He never stops. He's so crafty with that trailer, really excited about getting on the road and being able to speak with people about his injuries and inspiring them as well. I'm going to send it over to you, Jen.
Dana Marie, thank you so much. Jordan, certainly an inspiration this morning. Thanks so much for bringing us that story.
So sorry to see this, but I know you got your family with you. I know you're going to be good.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Garth.
All right, I love you, brother.
Pretty sure it was a dream come true for somebody that's so awesome to everybody else. Jordan is so giving and so loving and would do anything for anybody in the world. So to see Garth do that for him is just melts my heart.
Well, that is a bright spot since the windstorm for the Simon family. In 2017, during his week-long stay here in Spokane, Garth Brooks actually carved out some time to meet Simon virtually. They say the singer is Simon's idol. So he was able to, again, to talk to him virtually as Simon recovered in the hospital. I know that really made his day and his week. So a bright spot in that story, of course. So wishing, of course, Jordan and Simon the best in his recovery and his next adventures. Of course, this morning we will continue to track the 5th anniversary of the 2015 windstorm. And we do invite you to text us what you remember that day. I know you guys all know where you were when you heard the wind, what you did that night, what you felt, what you saw that morning when you woke up the next day. You can text us what you think at 509-448-2000. We'll be sharing some of your responses here coming up in the show. All right, reporting live here on the South Hill, I'm Jen York.